Hey, Matt Bochsler here with the Munda Biddi Trail blog report. First thing we're going to cover is we're going to look at the bike and everything I got set up to actually take this trip with. So what I chose was a Giant, because they were readily available in Australia, and it's an XTC full aluminum frame. It's one step above the Talon, which is the baseline. This one steps a little more into the whole racing scene, so it's a little lighter, a little faster, better equipment. A standardized true 250 lumen light, the camera mount that you're actually looking at. I changed all my tires over to Maxxis UST tubelesses. The primary reason is I'm always losing pressure on my tubes, and I was thinking, 10 to 25 days on the road. Everybody I talked to said tubeless was the way to go. They actually have a fluid in them that stays liquid and keeps rolling and constantly is resealing the bead on the tire. So it was an excellent investment. Cost about $110 per wheel in Australia. Keep in mind, Australia prices are considerably different than the States. Standard commodities often can run up to 300% and sometimes the same price as typical American pieces. So for instance, a 6-pack of Coke costs you $10 at the grocery store. Oh my God, right. It's about time to stop drinking Coke or something cheaper. Anyway, next piece. I went with Toe Peak rear waterproof bags because we're right in the middle of rain season. Actually, I don't think there's a season that's not rain here in the Perth area except for midsummer, which is up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit on typical. The rack I chose was called a Freeloader out of New Zealand, recently acquired by another large bag company, and they actually make that rack, which was super awesome. The reason I could not actually use a rack or a standardized $50 rack per se was that this being the racing version, the Giant XTC doesn't have any lugs on it to actually do any mounting. So I had to go with a specialized version, and if you can see, it attaches here and here literally with just nylon straps. So it's an extremely innovative piece of equipment. It really reminds me of kind of the type of engineers that work for Apple and Macintosh, where they have to come up with ideas that are so far out of the box and so far ahead of anything anyone else would think that they literally didn't include any instructions when I got it. And when I got it, I was just like, wow, why don't I have any instructions, blah, blah, blah. And I realized it's because it was so easy to put together. The thing literally just fell together. So with that, quick rear light, a cheap little Giant seat pack that has the basics in it. Basics for me is, I'll show you once again, really short and sweet. We've got a CO2 cartridge, which I have 2 of them, and a CO2 cartridge mounter, which is so it just gives you an end right here, and that allows you to fill the tire up. Basic tools, this little Allen key wrench set and a Phillips screwdriver covers every single piece on my bike. There's my tire mount, if you will, and those fit nicely in here. It's kind of nice to have all that. The other essentials, which I realized after talking to a few people on the trails, were simple things like a couple of rock straps right here. I talked to Phil at Biking Entrepreneur in, where was that? In Scarborough, Western Australia, which is just south of Perth. And I was like, Phil, what do I need to take on this trip so if I'm out in the middle of jack all nowhere, I have exactly everything I need? And he says, 2 things. A rock strap. So I go down to the grocery store and get rock straps, which are just glorified, super nice bungee cords. And the second piece he said was beer. No, wait a minute. Wire ties or cable ties, because you basically could cable tie anything you want together. He told me the story about he broke his frame in half and cable tied it together. Everybody's got a big fish story, right? Yeah, okay. I hope it doesn't happen for me that I have to test it. Anyway, and last piece, Anaconda Adventure Starts Here 750 millimeter bottle. Oh my God, so important. we'll cover a little bit more on that when I tear down my packs and show you exactly what's going on and what I took for actual camp gear and so forth. But in the meantime, that's what we're looking at. There's our giant setup. We're about 100 kilometers into the trip, i.e. about 65 miles. Everything's running good. Tires are tight. Running them about 65 pounds. And we'll catch you later on the next check-in. Excited to tell you guys about some of the fun places we're going to cover on this trip and some of the local fauna and flora. Talk soon. Bye!